I'm Max, over here at Brewing. We got company coming over in about a week, so I'm gonna get grain to glass on 2 batches back to back in about a week. We're gonna brew mullet with some slight tweaks, and we're gonna ferment it under pressure. We got Jared here with me today. He's gonna help out. Eli's sick, something wrong with his mangina. So go ahead and we're gonna slowly start doughing in. I'm gonna keep it mixing so we don't get any dough balls. Go ahead with it. We're currently sitting at about 165. Once we get all this room temp grain in there, it'll drop down to about 150 to 155. I'm not looking to be super spot on with numbers on this brew. We do have 11 pounds of grain. It's a mixture of Munich 1 and North Star Pills. You can go faster than that. Yeah, just a steady pour. You just don't want to have a whole lot going in there because you'll get grain, like grain balls in there, and it'll make it a pain in the butt to do anything with. So after we get done mashing for about an hour, we'll sparge like we showed on the last videos, and we'll go to a boil. I'm only going to do a 30-minute boil on this one. Like I said, I'm not trying to be super efficient on all my numbers. I'm really just trying to get 2 5-gallon batches of beer, grain to glass, completely finished, ready to drink in a week. So that's all we're trying to do here. I'll kind of go a little bit more into depth during the fermentation section on what pressure fermenting is. And then, but we're also going to brew another pale ale. Obviously going to be a slightly different recipe. But to kind of honor what we had said on that last one, we're definitely going to do a naming contest for it. You're not going to win any money, nothing like that. I might give you a hug, buy you a burrito, something like that. But you'll get to name it, and we'll shout you out and announce the name. But if you're close to the area, you can come drink it with us. All right, I think that looks good. We got some Belgian. Nice. So right now we are lautering, kind of cut off over here, just filling in some of this hot sparge water to get us up to the volume we need for pre-boil. So far, all of our numbers are looking great. Our grain bed's set pretty nice, and we'll come back when we start adding the hops. Now that we got her up to a boil, about to put an ounce of these New Zealand Pacifica hops in there. They are more or less a New Zealand variety of Hallertau Mittenfruer. At least that's how they were sold to me. So, but they smell freaking awesome. I know you can't smell them, but just gonna put a whole ounce in at 30 minutes. Only doing a 30-minute boil tonight. We'll put them right there in that hop spider. We gotta keep an eye on that wort. So when you add those hops, there is a likelihood of a boil over. So I got this stuff called Firm Cap. That is like a food grade silicone that you can drop in just a couple drops, and that'll help break the surface tension. What it looks like. That'll help break the surface tension and help prevent boilovers. Because only you can prevent boilovers. But yeah, so we're gonna brew this up or let this boil for about 30 minutes. Here in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna add a Warflock tablet and some yeast, about 2 grams of yeast nutrient. And we're gonna start getting her going. I've got the keg that we're gonna ferment in, filled with sanitizer right now. And when we come back, when we get to that, I'll show you guys how to pressure ferment and the pros and cons of fermenting under pressure. A sample of the wort, test our gravity. We're sitting at about a 1046. You're gonna end up with about a 4.5–5% beer. I'm trying to get that damn light. Probably got about another 20 minutes or so in the chill. We're at about 95 degrees. When I come back, I'll be getting everything in the keg, and really show you guys how to, or what you got to do to pressure ferment. And I'll touch more on the fermentation process when we get there. Eli is actually coming. He might show up before the end of this video. If not, he'll be in the next one, because I'm rolling from this brew right into doing the ale. So by the time I go to bed tonight, I have 2 beers in fermentation, and I'm hoping that they'll both be done probably Wednesday or Thursday. And at that point, I will hit them with some clear side findings, which I'll probably put a separate video explaining what that is, and hopefully have cold beer ready to drink and serve to everybody on Saturday. All right, so we got the beer in the keg. We are now going to use a spunding valve so that we can ferment this under pressure. Dun, 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 dun. Let's put that sleeve on it.
I don't know if we should
just for shits and giggles.
All the rest of the garage in this picture, but that's
all right. So this has a little. You twist this thing to set your desired pressure. See what we are at right now. Don't know how that was supposed to go. I guess we will find out. But right now we are showing about 5 psi. Keep an eye on that. In the morning I'll check it again, see what kind of pressure we've built up in here. And I'm going to try and keep it running around 10 psi. We're going to keep it at room temperature, which is higher than it's actually, this yeast is really supposed to be at, which is why we're pressure fermenting. So the pros and cons of pressure fermenting is, especially with like lagers, you can pressure ferment and ferment at a way higher temperature without getting any off flavors from those temperatures. Ferment at a higher temperature, it's going to ferment faster. We're using Nova Lager yeast, which is pretty clean fermenting anyways, and incapable of putting off sulfur notes. Brewed with it already. I like it. That's what we got in here. You can really kind of push 65 degrees with that if you want. Mullet is brewed with that, and we finished fermenting in about 5 days, I think, with Mullet, and that's fermenting at 60 to 65 degrees, not under pressure. So now I'm hoping that we can get this fermented and be ready and done fermenting by Wednesday. It is now midnight on Saturday. The cons of fermenting under pressure is it's really only a con if you're brewing a beer that you want to really get the esters from the yeast. So if you're brewing like an IPA or like a Belgian or Kolsch, or really anything that you're really looking to get the esters and character out of the yeast, you don't want to do that, because fermenting under pressure will suppress those esters. If you are trying to brew an IPA and you're trying to do it with like Kvike, it's actually not a bad idea to ferment under pressure, because Kvike will ferment so rapidly that it could push out all of the all the aromas from your hops, which the next beer we brew, we're actually going to be using a Kvike yeast on. So I'm going to go put this in my closet, and I'm not touching it until Wednesday. I will check to see what kind of pressure we're holding at on it, but I think we're going to be good.